What's up, NBA fans? What's up, all sports fans? This your boy JB, host of the Behind the Bench podcast network and channel. Giving a shout out to the rest of the crew. Shad, Kelvin Jermaine, KB Film Room, and Big Dog Talk Sports. That's right. That's right. Everyone who's tuning in today, thank you for supporting Behind the Bench. Subscribe to the channel. Help make this show the best that it can be. And I hope that everyone is having a prosperous New Year 2026. Now, when the well runs dry, that means the well is dry. When the well runs dry, that means the well is dry. And it's been dry for some time now. As I said, this is the year 2026. And I remember the day when the hurricane made his presence known immediately during the summer of 2018. I knew what was going to happen. I knew players were going to be let go, traded, cut, waived. But it's due to come up in here and operate with impunity. And when you fast forward to the present day, since this dude was brought to this franchise, the purple and gold, better known as the LA Lakers, Los Angeles Lakers, he's been given not one, not two, but three superstar franchise players over the past 6 seasons. Woo, man. That's dubious, man. That's not something to be bragging about. But to get those superstars, you have to sacrifice your own as well as a litany of draft picks to leverage out the trades, to facilitate the trades. And as I said, when all this started, which began with the Anthony Davis trade, well, not only are you trading away youth, not only are you trading away depth, not only are you trading away and open the door for your future to be mortgaged off, your real future, you start to, how can I say this? You start to relinquish your leverage of what will put you in a suitable position to be successful for a long period of time. What I mean is, while he had everybody traded off and cut, because what did the Hurricane recently say the other day during the post game after the Lakers beat the Pelicans on the road the other night? He said that basically he's a non-positional player. He can do whatever the team needs him to do. But see, his style of play, especially that started during the summer 2010, when he ushered in the super team era, well, what happened was positional basketball became devalued. Namely, the center position became devalued. The point guard position became devalued. And the standard power forward position became devalued. And so what happened is that paradigm that he brings from team to team, what happens is you may achieve one successful season, but the back end, that's when you're going to feel the brunt of what it feels like to mortgage off your real future. You're going to feel it. And she going to hit hard like an uppercut. So what I'm saying is, you take Chris Bosh, you turn him into a spot-up shooter. You take Kevin Love, you turn him into a spot-up shooter at the forward position, both of those players. when they was top 5 in PER. Then you take Anthony Davis, and then what you do with him is you take him out of the natural position altogether, and then he's forced to play the 5, the actual center position, because you have to have a certain team for this dude to roll. But what happened to the Los Angeles Lakers, in record time, they fell behind the 8 ball. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. While his brand of basketball, his system makes him look good, as he say, I'm a non-positional player. Well, if you notice what has been taking place in the league over the past 5 years, a lot of those teams that have become successful and established themselves as a force in the league, or as a primary contender, or who have actually won championships, they have reverted back to the traditional approach to building a successful roster. They are now developing positional players instead of non-positional players. So what happens is, this is how you sell yourself short. Look at this graphic right here. This season, when you're supposed to be in win now mode, and see when the stuff goes haywire, even when your record looks good, but is not really substantial, and the fans know it, the talking heads know it, the front office know it, the record that the Lakers have accumulated is really a byproduct of manipulation. So what has happened is, the more you go down this rabbit hole of trying to capitulate to a style of play that's counterproductive to absolute winning, you have to rely on low-tier players who are not your own to fill a position that they're not suited to play. You just can't roam out there in this conference and be successful when it comes to money time. And that's what we've been seeing in the playoffs. And that reality is rearing its ugly head once again, because as of right now, the Lakers are 30th in the league, and it's 32 teams. If I'm not mistaken, no, I take that back. They're dead last in bench points, in bench scoring, or points per game by your second unit. They're dead last. They're 26th in the NBA in rebounding. They're 26th in the league in three-point shooting. And they have a defensive rating of being 23rd in the league. This is what happens when you mortgage your future off. You could bring in a superstar 2 more years from now. But if you continue to trade away your own to bring in that superstar, you're going to get the same results. And it's going, what I'm saying is, from a full team aspect, like the way the Lakers are set up now, you have 2 superstars on the team. You brought in Luka Doncic, who's a top 3 player in the NBA when you consider the way he can score. He's leading the league in scoring. So you're going to win games throughout the course of the regular season. The issue is when you playing real teams out there. What I mean real teams out there, teams have been built up where they are sound across the board. Positionally, they have legitimate second units out there who can score. Or they have people who come off the bench and consistently give you 16 points a game as a 6-man level player. Lakers don't have that. They trying to do it by committee or bringing players in who has name reputation. So What I'm saying is, man, when you have to then what happens is, then you have to plug in guys into the starting lineup who are not starters. When I say that you are behind the curve or behind the eight ball, this is what I'm talking about. Now, you reverse the clock back, go back in the future, the real future. The real players, the players who you drafted, well, they boasted a top 5 bench unit in terms of points per game output. And when they really got going, they were top 3. Then that team in 2018, before all this started, they boasted the second best rebounding team in the NBA. Your team, your defense, you had a 10th ranked defense the majority of the season. The only thing that the young core was lacking was 3-point shooting. But then you drafted one of the top 3 long distance shooters in the NBA out of college in Svi Mikhailiuk, University of Kansas. He led, as a matter of fact, I think he holds the record for 3-point shooting in the season at that storied program, Kansas Jayhawks. He led the Big 12 in 3-point shooting, and you drafted him outright. He's been all over the league. And then you drafted Thomas Bryant, a stretch 5, who was shooting 40% from behind the arc. So as a young team, you was at the top of near the top of the league in bench scoring, rebounding, and you had a 10th ranked defense. And as I said, during that year, the main advantage or the main strategy by the opponent when they faced the young core Lakers was to outshoot them from the 3. Outside of that, we pretty much had it. We matched up toe to toe. That's why they finished with a point differential of negative 1.5, whereas this year's team, as of right now, probably either has a 0-point differential or slightly below 0-point differential. But you're supposed to be in win now mode. Everybody else that's as of right now, that's atop the Western Conference, they have a point differential of around like at minimum 4 or 5 points, or a positive 4 or 5 points. The Phoenix Suns have a greater point differential than the Lakers do. So what I'm saying is, and this ain't gonna hold up. And see, it's not a fault of management for quote unquote making bad moves. This is the byproduct of capitulating to a guy whose style of play is fundamentally flawed, because it eliminates 3 positional players, which led him to usher in this era of super teaming. But what happened is, when he formed the super team in Miami, he did it in a lackluster conference, right? And then you got veteran players to sign minimum, like 1-year deals to fill out the rest of the roster. His system, his style of play is flawed, and the concept is flawed. But it looked good because he was playing in the Eastern Conference. Nobody's going to 8 straight finals in the Western Conference. Kobe and Shaq won 3 titles back, 3 straight, and they didn't go to 8 straight finals. Tim Duncan won how many titles did he win during the 2000s? He won 3 titles during the 2000s. 2003, 2005, 2007. So every other year he won a title during that span. He didn't go to 8 straight finals. Golden State didn't go to 8 straight finals. Their conference was not good compared to the West. So what I'm saying is, man, if you stay the course and you keep building on what you have, You can bank every year that you're going to have production coming off the bench consistently. You're going to bank that you're going to have one of the top rebounding teams, because a lot of that was due to Julius Randle. When he was inserted to the starting lineup, he started averaging 10 rebounds or more. Then, who should have been the center of the future, Ivica Zubac, he was giving you 18 and 12 on the per 36 minute metric. But what you did was you start bringing in older guys to try to help win right now, who was past their prime in Tyson Chandler, who faded after the All-Star break. Even Dwight Howard, when he played that full season in 2019-2020, Ivica Zubac, full year with the Clippers, he was outperforming Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard just had the experience. But he wasn't necessarily rebounding off the charts. So even with even with Anthony Davis on the team, the way he had to play outside that 1 year, the Lakers was never one of the top rebounding teams over the past 5 years. So what I'm saying is, Zubac led the league in total rebounds last year. Randall was getting you 10 rebounds. And then Lonzo Ball, as a rookie, was leading all point guards and rebounds per game. And then you got Josh Hart coming off the bench. He's the best pound for pound rebounder in the NBA. So you had all these cats crashing the boards. But right now, they 26 in the NBA in rebounding. That's not gonna win in the playoff. You can forget it. So my point is this. When I stress these points, man, I be coming from the heart. I know what I'm seeing. And when you go this route, when you continually, more than likely, if they make another trade, Dalton Connect is going to be included in that trade. They essentially traded him last year because they needed a center and the trade broke down. Or, cats on TV right now on these shows talking about they need to trade Austin Reeves. So I'm telling you, if they trade those two players, that's the last remnant of any drafted player that you got. You may well kiss it goodbye, because you're gonna be flying rogue for some years to come, and you're not gonna come close to competing in this league for a championship. Now you look at the Eastern Conference. I mean, Detroit Pistons. They're one of the youngest teams in the league. They first place in the Eastern Conference. They sitting pretty. Then, like I said, OKC, even with their little struggles right now, man, they still with 31-7, 30-7. They on pace to win 60-some games. They'll break out of their slump, but that's part of the NBA. So, like I said, man, this is what happens when you give it all away. And then you capitulate to a guy's system that's flawed. And what's crazy is all these problems. Every year you make these moves. Like, there's only one player left from the bubble team. Everybody else is gone. The coaching staff is gone from that team. So all these changes, man, and the one constant is the dude that's causing all this. The hurricane. Boy. Whoo, man, oh man. And in many ways, these 7 years seem like an eternity, but it's went by so fast. And all I see is, man, I just see an erosion, man. That's all I see. I see an erosion. So, like I said, man, they're going to be talking about trade deadline coming up, fans upset because they feel that Rob Pelinka's, sitting, just sitting there, not being proactive. What more can this man do? I'm being dead. What more can he do? Now he can hock off the whole franchise for the next 10 years, going into next decade where ain't gonna be, you just going to have to sit idle for 10 years. You keep messing around with this dude. Keep making moves. And even when he's gone, like I said, at some point, you're going to have to develop your own players, man. You're going to have to. You're going to have to. So I just want to drop this nugget, man. Like I say, excuse me. If it was me, man, ain't nowhere in the world I'm going down that road, man. There's nowhere in the world. But according to the so-called experts, they thought, man, when they start gutting everything out and stacking the deck for this dude, they thought the Lakers was going to be riding high and winning 3 in a row. That was the plan. That was the plan. And I mean, it's so far off from reality. It's frightening. And everybody got to take the hit for it, man. Now they on JJ Redick back, even though they know he ain't no. Last year they say he did a great job. You know what I'm saying? And they know that man ain't got no coaching experience. He should start off as everybody else that's pursuing a career in the NBA as far as a coach. He should start off as an assistant to learn how to coach a team. Oh my God, man. What can I say? What can I say? And like I said, these small market teams, they figured out, man, how to counter this whole player empowerment, super team driven impulse. If you want our star player, we want a whole bunch of assets. We're going to draft a whole bunch of talent positionally. We're going to develop over a 3-4 year period, and we're going to produce a roster that is deep. That can basically go 10 deep. We're going to beat you by our depth from 1 to 10. That's how we're going to do it. And then 2 to 1, a primary player becomes a star and they all right. So that now they match up with you from that perspective. You don't have a chance against that type of team. But like I said, the greatest asset that we had going into the future was those young men. Period. They was the greatest value. But you had to convince the front office that they was expendable, because the dude on the team, when they say, well, he ain't got time to wait. Well, you setting yourself up for the okie doke. That's basically what's going on. So, like I said, man, it's not surprising to me. That's not finna compete for no championship right there, and everybody know it. So I just want to drop that nugget. Please leave your comments and thoughts until next time. This your boy JB for BTB Behind the Bench.